Hello everyone and welcome to another Halloo Sees It review. Today I'm reviewing Cat Between Us. This is a new one from the Op Games, designed by Sky Huang and Fabio Frenzel. Fantastic little game here. This is for 2 to 6 players and ages 8 and up. It takes 25 minutes to play. It's a very simple card game, but I really like the mechanic that is used within it. And that is really, it's about you have a limited number of cards in your hand, and you use those cards to influence how much each of these different colors left in your hand at the end of the round are going to be worth, trying to get as close as possible to this cat token without going over. And if you're able to do that, you're going to be able to win the round. Win 3 rounds, you are going to win the game. If you play a certain number of rounds and we get to a point where no one has reached 3 wins, then whoever has won the most will be victorious. If there's a tie, it will be whoever was the closest during that last round. And really that's the game, but I'm gonna show you the components here. Again, the packaging and everything, the Op Games has done a fantastic job with. The art here by Fabio, fantastic. Very inviting, nice touch with the graphic design and just the box and feel of the game itself. It is quite compact as well, so it's a great game for travel. Ages 8 and up, it is a very simple game, so you can play this. It works well with, I would say, families, with kids and adults. And it's got a lot of fun strategy. The rounds are really, really quick and short, and so it plays very quickly. It plays, you're not going to be just like, oh, come on, this is taking forever. No, that is not this game at all. The theming behind this here is that you have a cat and you're basically trying to lure the cat to you. They've gone and the mischievous cat has vanished, and you are going to dangle some toys here, trying to get it to come to you. And let's talk about the rule book. So we've opened it up here. The rule book here is great. It's got illustrations. There is a certain number of lure cards that are dealt depending on the round, as well how many wins that you have and the number of players. And so this is very, very helpful. It's really not too complicated once you get into it. You have a certain number, and then if you've won 1 round, you're going to add 1 card. If you've won 2 rounds, you're going to add 2 cards from the original. You're going to add 1 more, right? So it's really not that complicated, but they do have that chart in there, which is nice. They have some examples here, which again, very helpful as far as you want to be the closest, but not go over. So if you are on the same spot, you're good. Yellow wins. Here we have actually green and yellow both win because they're tied. Red is closer, but they went over. If everyone happens to go over, then it is whoever is still closest to the cat at that point would be victorious, right? And yeah, so it's great. It's very well laid out, and you have a little recap here that you can have out. They actually have a card here with the references as well. So there's some information about the setup and everything. So the rules are great. And it is a pretty easy one to teach, and very easy to learn, teach, and play. Here's the reference card. So it's got the cover image basically there. And then on this side, there is a little marker in here as well. Talk about the nice wood components included here. But we have this little blue cube marker that you can utilize to keep track of the number of rounds. Again, you're going to play 7 rounds or until someone is able to win 3 times. And a good reminder of all the different things. Not only does it have a reference of how many cards to deal per player depending on how many rounds they've won, but they also have, hey, depending on where you're at, you're going to have in your hand this many cards left, which is going to be important as you kind of strategize. And it really is a nice balancing mechanism, which we'll talk about. But before we do that, let's talk about the other components. The insert here, real basic, works great. The cards and everything fit nicely. Everything fits in the box nicely. The cards you can easily get in and out of the insert, and the insert is in good shape and will continue to be in good shape. So let's take a look at the cards as well as the wooden components here. So you have, again, this blue cube, which you're going to use as your little round tracker, which is great. And then we also have 2 cat meeples in each color. And so they are fun little, great little meeples. But we have multiple sets for all the different players. What I say is up to 6, right? Yep. So we have blue, red, white, yellow, green, and black. So good colors there. There's also the cat meeple itself. So it's a little bit larger, and it's got the image on both sides. So just really nice wooden components in the game. Let's check out the cards. So the cards themselves, we had the board, I guess it's a score tracker. So we have this reference card, we have those, and you're gonna use these cards to build, these 4 cards to build a score track, or, well, it's a score track and a round, like the goal, to keep track of the goal for the round. Sorry, I can't quite fit this. Let me just go ahead and make this, bring this up a little bit. So with this, there is one caveat. So this plays from 2 to 6. It's, I believe it was 5 players is the only one where you have to remove some cards. And I think that's in the setup on this side here. So it is, yeah, if playing with 5 players, choose 1 suit, remove all cards from the game, 1 toy and the 7 lure cards. Otherwise, you're going to use all 6 suits. So just something specific for the 5-player count, you'll need to remember to remove 1 set of these. So we have these, they're double-sided, they are the same. They have some, so those represent the different suits. This is the back, so it matches. You got the cat token on that side. And the artwork is fantastic with these. They are color, and there's also a symbol if you do struggle with color blindness or something like that. And again, it's just very nice to quickly pick up on that. But the colors are very easily distinguished, at least from my perspective and experience with it. But the symbols are definitely nice, and it's also matches the toy on the card. You'll actually notice some similarities, right? If we go to this one, they're slightly different. So you have this one green, it's playing with the cactus. Here's the one blue, playing with the little fish. You'll see it's basically the same pose, but different kind of design on the cat and the toy. But you'll have the same or similar kind of pose to them as well. But they look great, and so you'll have different ones for each of these. You have numbers from 0 to 6, 6 being the highest. So fun little artwork, but very functional cards as well with the graphical design on that. The cards themselves are good quality, a nice quality card. They're gonna hold up really well. They don't have like the real deluxe linen type finish that I generally like with my cards, but these are still really, really nice. These are right up there. So good quality. The setup's really easy. You're just gonna lay those out. You're gonna lay out all of the toy cards along the bottom here. and you're going to shuffle. And so each round, the goal is going to change where this cat is. So you're going to shuffle these up. You're going to randomly choose a card. And so a nice multi-use on the cards here. We have a number, so 14. We'll go ahead and set the cat up at 14. So this is where our goal is for this specific round. Again, and you may have it higher at times or lower. And so you shuffle these up and you're going to deal out the cards based, of course, on the number of wins. Everyone will be 0. Again, with the 4-player game, everyone's going to start with 6 cards. And by the end, everyone will have 3 cards left in their hand. Now, when you're playing the game itself, it's really only numbers that matter at the time. Again, in what you're playing. So you're not required, I don't have to play this kind of purple color here on underneath this toy. I could play it in any one of these. And really, we're just worried about the number there. We can also gather some information, right, about, hey, this player obviously, okay, has played a purple. So they have one less purple in their hand. So what happens with that, though, is each card is going to have 2 cards below it, and you're going to add up those numbers, and then that card would be worth that many. So if I had a 2 and a 0, for example, under this purple card, then each of those purple cards is going to be worth 2 points and would be able to move my cat figure 2 spaces along this track for every purple that I have. Again, at that point, you're no longer looking at the numbers, but only looking at that. So each of these are going to have numbers in front of them. But again, if I had some here, well, let's see, go on to the purple. So again, all of these are going to have cards. But for example, if I had these cards left in my hand, let's say green had 2 zeros or something, so that wouldn't move any. But I have a blue, which is now worth 7, and then a purple, which is worth 2. That's going to take me to 9, right? And then based on where the other players end up, we have a winner for the round. You have 2 tokens because one is to move along this track, and the other is to keep track of where you are in the wins. So we're on this card, that's 0 wins. If you're on this card, it's 1. There's also a little symbol here. And we make it to there, we have 2 wins. And if we make it to the final card, we are victorious, right? That's the game, and I really, really enjoy it. The interesting kind of balancing mechanism is that they have with this as well is that as you go along, you're going to be dealt one more card. Well, that one more card is likely going to make it so that you have a higher number, right? So those closest to victory are going to be dealing with the most cards. That does also mean that they have the most flexibility or more options in what they play and what they choose to keep, but they have to keep, they're going to end up with more cards. Either, 3 if you haven't won any, 4 or 5. And so that's an interesting kind of balancing mechanism that I think works really well. It's very simple but elegant design and a lot of fun. And it's very portable. It doesn't take up a lot of table space, really, and in the gameplay either. So it is a fantastic travel game, easily played on a small table at lunch. Again, it plays fairly quickly as well. Depending on, again, the number of players, it's going to increase that slightly a little bit, but it goes really, really quick. So we really enjoyed this one. This is Cat Between Us, and I think everything, it gets kind of top notch just for me on everything from components to the graphic design. The theming of it is great. It works. And just a really clever mechanic here. I really like games that do that, where you have a balance of, I'm using these cards to determine the value of the remaining cards in my hand. And I'm also, this is impacting everyone, right? This is impacting it for everyone with purple cards left in their hand. Maybe if someone changes, right, as that small short round progresses, I'll have a plan in my head of, okay, I'm going to do this and this. And then someone makes, this worth a lot more points than I wanted it to be. So now I have to change up my plan, right? So there is that in the game as well. So I feel like it's not one that's going to become stagnant. It's going to zoom around like a cat with zoomies, right? So anyway, that is Cat Between Us. Really enjoyed that one. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments, and I will get to those as soon as I can. I'd like to thank the Op Games for providing a copy for review. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you have not yet done so, please consider subscribing. We hit around 800. We hit 800 this week followers, and love to trying to get that pushed up to 1,000. Would love any help with that, and hopefully you enjoy the content. Please let me know if you want to see additional comment, if you want to see like a playthrough or something of one of the games. But thank you so much. That is how Lou sees it.